Your church has frightened people for far too long. This constant threat of the last judgment, hell, purgatory, and all these things has caused serious harm. So much for the freedom of a Christian, as your Martin Luther once wrote. And all this still in the 21st century. Where are we? One could hear the anger reflected in this outburst. And it really was like that. This flood of sentences poured over me. I hadn't done anything wrong, but as a representative of the church, I had to listen to it, I suppose. My opinion was of little interest here. It was only about venting one's feelings. Many people likely feel the same way, wanting nothing more to do with the church. But aside from this understandable and perhaps even relatively emotional irritation, what about the last judgment and what's supposed to come after? The Bible certainly insists that life continues after this earthly existence. The question is how. But just because the Bible claims it doesn't make it true, some people will argue now. There's hardly much to say against that either. However, one question especially arises as I get older. Can one live with the idea that this life is everything? Isn't there a deep-seated longing in us that there's something more? Frankly, I seriously engaged with this question in my younger years. And for me, it became entirely clear. Either I believe in God, with all its implications and the study of the Bible, or I don't believe in it, and then must find my way in life alone, without help from above, or whatever one may call it. It was entirely clear to me. God is not a joker that one pulls out when one can't go on, or a S up one's sleeve. God deserves more respect than that, and so do I. Since I have decided to assume that there is a God and a future after this life, I fully agree with the thought for the week. And it seems entirely logical to me when the Apostle Paul says in his letter to the Corinthians, "For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ." Regardless of my stance on hell and purgatory, one day I will surely have to give an account of what I have done and what I have left undone in this life. One could also say I won't get away unscathed. I will have to take responsibility. Fairly speaking, I personally believe in a merciful God, and I will need Him, for otherwise entering heaven, entering God's reality, whatever one wants to call the future, will be difficult. I will be revealed how I am, and above all, it will become clear who Jesus Christ is. And I am firmly convinced that this God will say to me, "Here is my child, and no one and nothing will snatch him from my hand." When that is revealed, justice will speak for me, and not only for me. Faithful and loving God, I come before you with all that I have and all that I am, with what I have done and what I have left undone. I entrust my life to you and hope and assume that you look upon me with merciful eyes and that your judgment reads, "I have loved him always and will never let him go." Thank you for placing this certainty in my heart. Amen.